85% of men today are unaware of the signs of infidelity. Most guys are so deep into their daily routines that they dismiss clues that could save them from heartache and wasted time. But here's the kicker. Knowing these signs is only half the battle. You also need the mental strength to face them head-on without flinching. This isn't about creating paranoia or suspicion. It's about protecting yourself from investing in a relationship that's already half gone. Today, we're going beyond just spotting the signs. We're talking about developing the mindset of a man who doesn't let himself get blindsided. We'll cover the key phrases women use when they're drifting, the psychological reasons behind these behaviors, and how you can maintain control over your reactions. Whether it's subtle hints she's dropping or bigger, more obvious signs, by the end of this video, you'll know how to handle each one with confidence and take back your power. Let's dive right in. Number 1. The psychological truth behind infidelity. Infidelity rarely starts with physical cheating. It begins in the mind, slowly and subtly. What most people miss is that cheating isn't a one-moment decision. It's a process. A woman doesn't just wake up one day and decide to cheat. It starts with small steps, an innocent text, an inside joke with a coworker, or a long conversation with an old friend. The real reason most men overlook this is because we're conditioned to ignore the signs and dismiss subtle changes. But if you're ignoring the early stages, you're setting yourself up to be blindsided. So what's really happening? For many women, cheating starts with emotional distance before anything physical comes into play. When a woman feels emotionally neglected or unfulfilled, she may start looking for that connection elsewhere. This doesn't excuse her actions, but it's a reality check for men to understand where things start to slip. The scary part: most men ignore these subtle signs until it's too late, hoping everything will work itself out. But hope isn't a strategy. It's time to recognize the pattern so you can protect yourself from wasting time and energy in a relationship that's already half gone. Imagine this. You're going through the motions in a long-term relationship, busy with work, the gym, your buddies, and your daily routine. You start noticing your partner seems off. Maybe she's on her phone a little more, or she's laughing at inside jokes you aren't part of. You ask her about it, and she says, "Oh, it's just my coworker. He's really funny." You shrug it off because you trust her, right? But here's the hard truth. Sometimes trust can make you blind. Ignoring that gut feeling doesn't make it go away. Don't ignore it. If you sense something's off, have the strength to face it head-on. Don't accuse, don't panic, but be aware. Ask yourself, is she genuinely interested in connecting with me, or is her mind elsewhere? By paying attention to these small shifts, you start reclaiming control. You're not waiting to be blindsided. You're sharpening your awareness and recognizing the patterns. Number 2. So-and-so understands me so well. Let's dig into one of the most common phrases that should make you take a step back. So-and-so understands me so well. This phrase might sound innocent at first, but here's why it's a red flag. When a woman starts highlighting someone else's ability to understand her, she's subtly signaling that there's an emotional gap between you and her. Relationships thrive on connection, and when she starts finding that connection outside of you, it's a problem that only escalates. Consider this scenario. You've been dating for a few years and things have become routine. Suddenly, she mentions her coworker, Dave, more frequently. "Dave just gets me, you know? He understands what I'm going through with work stress," she says. At first, you might brush it off, thinking she's just venting. But here's where most men miss the point. Repeatedly bringing up another person as her emotional support is not just venting. It's forming a bond that competes with yours. When you hear this phrase, don't ignore it or let it slide. Keep your cool and stay composed, but acknowledge it internally. This is your signal to assess what's happening. Are you investing in a relationship where your partner is connecting with someone else on a deeper level? Ignoring these clues doesn't preserve the relationship. It risks more damage. If you're truly connected, you'll be her primary confidant. If she's finding that connection elsewhere, it's a wake-up call to address it, or if need be, re-evaluate the relationship entirely. Let her know, subtly yet confidently, that you notice the change. A calm, straightforward response like, "I noticed you've been talking about Dave a lot. Is there something you're not telling me?" communicates that you're perceptive and won't be played. This is about self-respect. Don't give anyone the chance to erode your peace by making you feel second to anyone else. Number 3. It's just friends. Next up, the classic phrase, "It's just friends." Now, don't get it twisted. We all need friends, and having a social life outside a relationship is healthy. But here's where it gets complicated. Just friends can quickly turn into a grey area when boundaries aren't respected. And unfortunately, the just friends excuse has become one of the most common covers for infidelity. Imagine this. Your girlfriend starts mentioning a new friend she's spending time with, grabbing lunch, going to concerts, even texting late into the night. When you ask about it, she brushes it off with, "Oh, we're just friends. He's like a brother to me." Maybe you trust her at first, but over time you start noticing subtle changes. She's a little more defensive when you ask about her plans, or she's laughing at inside jokes you aren't part of. In this situation, most men fall into one of two traps. They either ignore it and hope it goes away, or they react out of jealousy, which pushes her further away. The key here is to stay grounded and keep your cool. Instead of getting emotional, start observing her behavior closely. Is she more engaged in these friend outings than she is with you? Does she prioritize him over your time together? These are the signs to look for. Now, here's what you do. Stay confident, stay unbothered, and don't let jealousy cloud your judgment. If she's going out of her way to spend time with this friend, step back and let her actions reveal the truth. True confidence isn't demanding explanations. It's being perceptive enough to read the signs. Remember, a woman who values the relationship will be open about her friendships, and there will be no need for secrets. If she's hiding or dismissing your questions, it's a sign she's not fully committed. Show her by your actions that you won't settle for being the fallback option. This isn't about jealousy. It's about respecting yourself. Number 4. I need more space. Next up, I need more space. Now, space in a relationship can be healthy, but here's the reality. When she asks for space out of nowhere, it often signals a desire to create distance, either emotionally or physically. In other words, it's her subtle way of testing how much freedom she can take without you noticing or resisting. Let's break down the typical scenario. You're in a relationship. Things seem to be going smoothly, and then suddenly she says, "I just feel like I need a little more space to focus on myself." If this comes out of the blue, it's time to take a closer look. Maybe she's reconnecting with old friends, exploring new hobbies that don't include you, or simply pulling away in subtle ways. While space itself isn't a bad thing, the sudden need for it often indicates something deeper. Most men's first instinct here is to panic, thinking they did something wrong. Don't panic and don't beg for answers. Give her space, but make it clear that your self-respect comes first. Don't be the guy who waits around anxiously hoping she'll come back. Instead, use this time to refocus on your own goals, your fitness, your finances, or even expanding your social circle. This does two things. It shows her you have a life beyond her, and it reinforces your own self-worth. Here's a practical move. Let her have her space, but don't put your life on hold. Start making plans, working on yourself, and let her wonder about what you're up to. This isn't playing games. It's protecting your own value. If she truly cares about you, she'll notice that you're not waiting around and realize that her request for space won't make you any less of a high-value man. And if she doesn't come back, then her intentions were never aligned with yours in the first place. Remember, a woman who wants to be with you won't need to test the limits of your patience. Stand firm, hold your ground, and don't sacrifice your own time or peace for anyone who's unsure about their place in your life. Self-respect isn't about control, it's about knowing when to walk away. Number 5. I'm working late. This is one of the classic excuses, I'm working late. At first it might seem like a normal statement. After all, in today's fast-paced world, many people have demanding jobs. But when this excuse becomes a frequent occurrence, especially when paired with vague explanations and a lack of transparency, it could be a red flag. Imagine this. Your partner used to have a predictable work schedule, with the occasional late night here and there. But recently, it seems like work occupies more of her time than ever before. When you ask about it, she brushes you off with a vague response like, "You know how it is, just busy with deadlines." While that might sound reasonable, you need to pay attention to her actions when she gets home. Is she distant, tired, uninterested, or constantly glued to her phone? People who truly care about their relationships make time for the ones they love, no matter how busy they are. After all, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, and even the busiest person can spare a few minutes for someone they care about. So, if she's constantly unavailable, it's not just her job keeping her busy, it's a shift in her priorities. The key here is not confronting her over every little thing, but recognizing patterns. Is this sudden workaholic behavior typical, or is it a recent change? A partner who truly values you will respect you enough to communicate openly. If she's being defensive or secretive, that's on her, not you. Remember, a woman who values the relationship will be transparent about her schedule and won't hide behind work. She will communicate, reassure, and make time for you. Don't be the guy left wondering, making excuses for her absence. Recognize when it's time to ask questions and set boundaries that protect your time and self-respect. Trust her actions over her words. Number 6. Maybe time apart will help. One of the hardest phrases to hear in any relationship is, "Maybe we need some time apart." This often marks the beginning of the end, even if she doesn't outright admit it. When someone suggests taking a break, they're often signaling they want space to explore other options without completely letting go of the security the relationship offers. It's a way of keeping you on standby while they figure out what they want. Think about it. Things have been tense. Maybe there have been a few arguments. And then suddenly she suggests, "I think we should take a break to figure things out." The truth is, in most cases, a break isn't about fixing the relationship. It's about her looking elsewhere while keeping you as a backup plan. Harsh, but true. So, how should you respond? If she wants a break, give it to her fully, but don't just sit around waiting. Don't text, don't call, and don't chase. Let her know that you respect her decision, but you won't be hanging around, hoping she'll come back. This isn't about playing games. It's about protecting your dignity and setting a boundary. What happens next? When she sees you're willing to walk away, she'll have to face the reality of losing you. If she values you, she'll come back with a renewed commitment. If not, you've saved yourself time and heartache. Remember, you are not a backup plan. If she's not fully invested in you, it's better to know now. Hold your ground, respect yourself, and don't let anyone treat you like an option. Number 7. You deserve better than me. You deserve better than me may sound like a compliment, but in reality it's often a cover-up for guilt. When someone isn't fully invested or is hiding something, They might try to absolve themselves by saying it's about your worth rather than their actions. It's their way of saying, I'm not in this 100%, but I don't want to be the one to end things. Think about it. Why would someone who truly cares about you say that you deserve better? If they genuinely valued the relationship, they would be working on improving it, not suggesting you could do better elsewhere. This phrase is often a soft exit strategy, an easy way out without taking responsibility for ending things. So, what should you do when you hear this? First, don't argue or try to convince her that she's wrong. Instead, show her you know your own worth. Reply with something like, I know what I deserve, and I deserve someone who's fully committed. The key is not getting caught up in their self-doubt or guilt. Stay firm, stay grounded, and remember that you deserve someone who values and respects you. A high-value man knows his worth and doesn't settle for less. By holding your ground, you send a clear message that your self-worth isn't up for negotiation. Number 8. Nonverbal signs of emotional detachment. Sometimes, the loudest signs aren't verbal at all. Body language, tone of voice, and subtle shifts in behavior often speak volumes. When someone is emotionally detaching, you'll notice changes in their actions. Maybe they avoid eye contact, their tone is flat, or they seem distracted when you're together. These aren't just coincidences, they're signs of emotional distance. Think about the last time you were with her. Did she seem more interested in her phone than in your conversation? Maybe she used to lean in close when you talked, but now she sits back, crosses her arms, or avoids physical touch. These subtle shifts are signs that something is different. So, how should you handle it? Instead of confronting her about every little change, observe it without showing your hand. Acknowledge the shifts internally, but don't let them shake your confidence. People often reveal their true intentions through actions long before they say a word. If she's pulling away, don't rush to fill the gap. Let her actions reveal where she stands. A high-value man doesn't chase affection or validation. If she's creating distance, let her see that you've noticed but aren't desperate to fix it. This isn't about playing games, it's about maintaining your self-respect. Your calm, controlled reaction will speak volumes. If she's genuinely invested, she'll close that gap herself. If not, you'll have gained clarity without ever having to say a word. Number 9. Managing emotions without losing control. One of the biggest challenges when facing potential betrayal or signs of infidelity is managing your emotions. Betrayal hurts, there's no doubt about that. And it's easy to let emotions like anger, insecurity, and frustration take over. But here's the reality. Letting emotions control your reactions is a surefire way to lose power in any situation. A man who can't control his reactions is easy to manipulate. He'll always be at the mercy of external circumstances. Now, let's be clear. Anger, jealousy, and insecurity are natural emotions, especially when you sense something's wrong in your relationship. But here's where high-value men differ. They feel those emotions, but don't let them dictate their actions. Imagine you notice your partner distancing herself, maybe spending more time with friends or being vague about her plans. Your gut reaction might be to confront her, demand answers, or even lash out. But the truth is, reacting impulsively rarely leads to the outcome you want. In fact, it often confirms her suspicions that you're insecure, which only pushes her further away. So, practice emotional discipline. Recognize feelings of jealousy or anger, but don't let them control you. Instead, use that energy to refocus on yourself, on your goals, your fitness, your financial growth. Emotions are energy, and you can choose to use them to strengthen yourself rather than letting them weaken you. A man who controls his emotions cannot be easily shaken or manipulated. When you stay calm and composed, you communicate a powerful message. You're not dependent on anyone's validation for your peace of mind. That confidence is magnetic. By keeping your cool, you take back control and gain clarity. If she's genuinely invested in you, your calm demeanor will make her think twice about jeopardizing what she has. If she isn't, you'll have the clarity to make a strong decision without letting temporary emotions cloud your judgment. Remember, power lies in control, and that control starts with mastering yourself. Number 10. Building resilience and self-empowerment beyond infidelity. Every challenge in life, especially one as personal as infidelity, is an opportunity to build resilience. Life isn't about avoiding difficulties. It's about how you face them and come out stronger on the other side. When it comes to relationships, betrayal and red flags can be incredibly painful, but they can also be some of the most valuable lessons you'll ever learn. They reveal what you need to work on, show you what's truly important, and most importantly, they teach you about your own strength. Let's be clear, resilience isn't just about surviving. It's about using every setback as fuel to become a better, stronger, and more self-aware man. When you recognize red flags, face betrayal, or even feel the pain of a relationship coming to an end, that's your opportunity to double down on yourself. Use that experience to sharpen your goals, clarify your values, and build the life you want. Don't waste your energy on anger or resentment. Those emotions will only hold you back. Instead, focus on your own growth and take control of your story. Imagine you're in a relationship where things start to feel uncertain. Maybe you're seeing some of these red flags and feel a mix of disappointment and hurt. Instead of letting that define you, ask yourself, how can this experience make me stronger? Channel that energy into personal development. Whether it's physical fitness, advancing your career, or expanding your skills, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Let her see that you're not just a man who can handle betrayal. You're a man who uses every experience to come out stronger. Here's the truth. When you invest in yourself, you naturally attract people who respect that strength. A man who knows his worth and continues to grow no matter what is a man who commands respect. By focusing on self-empowerment, you remind yourself that you don't need anyone's validation to feel valuable. That's resilience. That's true strength. And when you embody that, you create a life built on confidence, independence, and self-respect. So, if you're facing red flags in a relationship or dealing with the pain of infidelity, use it as a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. Make a commitment to yourself that no matter what happens, you will continue to grow, become better, and live by your own standards. This isn't just about relationships. It's about becoming a man who can handle anything life throws at him with strength and dignity. Stay focused, stay strong, and remember, your value comes from within. Today, we've covered it all: the signs, the red flags, the phrases and behaviors that reveal when a relationship is slipping away. These aren't easy truths, but they are necessary if you want to protect yourself from wasted time, energy, and heartache. Remember, it's not about paranoia or constant suspicion. It's about awareness and self-respect. Recognizing these red flags is your chance to take control of your life, set boundaries, and build relationships based on respect and commitment. But here's the biggest takeaway. Your self-worth doesn't depend on anyone else's loyalty. You have the power to stand strong, to walk away if necessary, and to keep your standards high. Every relationship is a choice, and you deserve someone who values you, respects you, and is fully committed. Don't settle for anything less. If you've found value in this video, don't forget to show your support by hitting that like button, sharing it with others, and subscribing to stay connected with a community of men who are on a journey to growth, strength, and self-respect. Your support is what keeps this channel going and allows us to create more valuable content that speaks the truth. By subscribing, you're joining a community of like-minded individuals who are committed to becoming the best version of themselves. So, if you're ready to level up, don't miss out on the next video. Comment below if these insights hit home, if you're ready to put this knowledge into action, and if you're committed to raising your standards. Let's keep the conversation going and build something meaningful together.